Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabor.
And I am Martin Asiedu Dartey. Let's bring you the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
More than 1,000 workers from the Damang mines set to stage a mass picketing following government's refusal to extend its lease agreement.
Upper East Regional Minister urges security personnel in and around Boku not to abandon their posts as the conflict there escalates.
And also in the bulletin, National Health Insurance Authority to expand free dialysis services across the country.
In business news, businesses threaten to pass on costs of increase in utility tariffs to consumers following PURC's upward adjustment effective May 3.
And later on the international front, South Africa appoints special envoy to the U.S. in an effort to ease tensions between the two countries, which have worsened since Donald Trump's resumption of office.
We have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
Let's dig into it, literally, because we're talking about issues about gold, and that has to do with some digging. Now, news we have indicate that Gold Board, which was recently launched, says that all licenses issued by the previous, the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, PMMC, and or the minister responsible for mines to a person other than the large-scale mining companies to deal in gold have ceased to be valid. And this is pursuant to the Ghana Gold Board Act 1140-2025, which was passed by Parliament on the 29th of March 2025 and assented to by the President of the Republic on the 2nd of April 2025. In a statement on Monday, April 14, the Gold Board noted that all licensed persons or entities buying gold from the local market must do so in Ghana cedis and at a price calculated based on the Bank of Ghana's reference rate published on the Bank of Ghana website, which is the website www.bog.gov.gh. The statement further added that starting the 1st of May 2025, it will be punishable to purchase or deal in gold in Ghana without a valid license from the Ghana Gold Board. And so the statement was released a few hours ago, and by way of extension, it gives notice that any form of illegal trade in gold ends immediately or latest by the 1st of May. If anything like that comes up, it will be a punishable offense. Now, let's look at, on the back of that last information about those who trade in illegal gold, let's look at some numbers having to do with Ghana's gold sector. Illicit trade overshadowing legal export of gold. Official information from the Ghana Statistical Service indicates that about $10.8 billion in all is what Ghana exports legally. And if you look at that number and the quantum of it, $10.8 billion, means that that is what we formally have captured in our books as the total amount of minerals, including gold, that we export legally as a country. And we also do know that about $2 billion is what is exported illegally. So if you, that's what's on your screen now. Ghana loses about $2 billion in illegal gold that is sold on the blind side of the state, or sometimes, following recent information, with the connivance of some key individuals, the country loses about $2 billion in gold trading and smuggling. That is why the Gold Board is insisting that every kind of gold trading must and should go through their institution, so the Gold Board, which was set up recently.
In more news tonight, more than 1,000 workers from the Daman mines are set to stage a mass picketing at the Minerals Commission next week. The protest, organized by the Ghana Mine Workers Union, is aimed at pressing the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to provide clear reasons for its decision to terminate the contract extension for the Daman mining operations. General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdulmumin Bana, revealed this in an interview with our Labour Affairs correspondent Daniel Opoku in Accra.
In 2013, the government of Ghana signed a development agreement with Goldfields, the managers of Daman mines. As part of the deal, Goldfields was tasked with making significant investment to revive and sustain the mine's operations. In response, Goldfields pumped over $1.4 billion into the Daman project, transforming it into one of the most viable mining operations in the country. However, the company's mining lease has now expired, and the government has opted not to renew it. While no official explanation has been provided, media reports suggest that government may be considering a broader policy shift toward the nationalization of mining operations in Ghana. The General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdulmumin Bana, has raised concerns about the lack of transparency. He says the Daman mines employs over 1,000 workers, and failure to engage stakeholders could lead to serious labor unrest.
Incomes and livelihoods, once it comes under serious question, we will mass up. We would, mass up at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and demand this time around our livelihoods directly from the minister and by extension the government. Because, like I'm saying, a public official, by law, is supposed to act in the best interest of the state. And acting in the best interest of the state, the law requires that your discretion should be circumspect.
In a related development, Bana also reacted to recent comments made by the Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, that foreigners caught engaging in illegal mining activities will be repatriated.
Because our prisons are choked, you would rather prefer to deport or repatriate foreigners out of the country. If the prisons are choked and you are happy to send our own people into those choked prisons, instead of decongesting them, it clearly means that either your priorities are misplaced or you are clueless about how to approach this fight. And on that particular subject matter, I expect the government of John Mahama to be apologizing to the people of Ghana.
On the subject of Gold Board, a key government initiative aimed at promoting responsible small-scale mining, the General Secretary shared his thoughts as well.
The Gold Board is not going to deliver its objectives all by itself. It takes human beings. And I keep saying to government officials that, look, Ghana's mining industry will remain a mining industry relevant to our economy when and if workers in that industry are appreciated.
Still staying on issues of mining and gold, Goldfields Limited has confirmed that its application to extend the mining lease for the Daman mine in Ghana has been rejected by the government. In a statement released today, it noted that it was instructed to cease operations and vacate the site by April 18, 2025 upon the lease's expiration. Goldfields, in its 2024 integrated annual report, disclosed that it had applied for the extension of the Daman mining lease, which was originally submitted in 2021. The company in the statement said it has since been actively engaging with relevant authorities following the rejection of their application. Goldfield says it is now preparing to safely and responsibly wind down operations at Damang with a focus on protecting its workforce and ensuring the security of high-risk operations. The company has meanwhile emphasized its commitment to ongoing engagement with the Ghanaian government to achieve the best possible outcome for all stakeholders. And this follows the Damang Mines letter it released over the weekend asking for an extension of a license to operate, which has been rejected by the government.
Let's now go to the Western region, where the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boah, has issued a stern warning to prospective miners who plan to do so in forest reserves and water bodies that it will be a deadly business. Speaking at the passing out ceremony of some 453 blue water guards at Asiedu in the Western region, the minister underscored government commitment to protecting Ghana's natural resources. Irama Smith has more.
The Blue Water Guard Initiative is a comprehensive program designed to combat illegal mining in water bodies. The initiative includes a one-month training comprising both practical and theoretical exercises. The 453 were therefore given the necessary skills to detect and report illegal mining activities within and along water bodies, and also work with law enforcement agencies in intelligence gathering and enforcement actions. At the passing out ceremony on Monday, April 14, at the Naval Forward Operation Base in Asiedu, Western Region, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boah, urged the newly trained Blue Water Guards to adhere strictly to the code of conduct they had signed on to, stressing that their role is crucial in protecting Ghana's water bodies.
Remember, you have assigned a code of conduct, a binding commitment to professionalism and integrity. Any breach of this code, any compromise in your duties will attract stiffer sanctions. And please make sure you know that at all times. You are to exhibit the highest levels of integrity on a daily basis. The task before you is sacred. The future of our water bodies depends on your discipline and vigilance.
He also issued a stern warning that engaging in mining activities within forest reserves and water bodies will attract severe consequences.
Our goal is to see to diligent miners grow into medium-scale operators and eventually become large-scale miners. But the caveat is to guide them to mine responsibly and sustainably. That means that mining in our forest reserve and our pristine water bodies will be a deadly business, and as the Army has emphasized, going forward, any attempt to mine gold in our forest reserve and our water bodies will be a deadly business, and we mean it.
Deputy Minister of Defense Ernest Brojajemfi urged the newly trained water guards to ensure their presence signals hope to all law-abiding citizens.
You are not just defenders of our water bodies, you are protectors of life itself. Our rivers and water bodies are the lifelines of our communities, our agriculture, and most importantly, our health. Let your presence on our waters signal hope to all law-abiding citizens, and let it also be a firm warning to those who seek to destroy our natural heritage, illegal mining, and pollution. As you go out to serve, do so with integrity, courage, and professionalism. Uphold the standards that you have been taught. Respect the communities you serve, and always remember that the eyes of the nation are upon you.
The event united politicians and traditional leaders, fostering collaboration and discussions on key issues. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Asiedu.
Thank you very much.
Right, so from the Western region, let's go to the Ashanti region, where growing concerns over armed robbery in the Dartey North District have prompted a major police crackdown. The police have eliminated 4 members of a dangerous robbery gang responsible for terrorizing miners, motorists, and even banks across the Ashanti region. There's more on this report.
At a press briefing on Monday, April 14, the Ashanti South Regional Police disclosed that the gang is linked to at least 8 major robberies in just 2 months. That's between February and April this year. Their crime spree has been stretching from Fomena to Dompase and its surrounding areas. But on Saturday, April 12, luck eluded them.
On 12 April 2025, at about 13:30 hours, police PID received intelligence that the said WK and his gang once again have armed themselves with an AK-47 assault rifle and 2 pump-action rifles and were embarking on a robbery at a mining site near Asiedu. On seeing the police, the suspect opened fire on the personnel. They also returned fire appropriately, and in the process, 5 suspects, including WK, Samson, and the others, were hit by gunfire. They sustained various degrees of injuries and were rushed to the Kwara Government Hospital for treatment, but were pronounced dead, except one of them who is responding to treatment.
AK-47 rifle, 2 pump-action guns, live ammunition, and spent cartridges were retrieved from the suspects. The police have assured the public of continued security.
We take this opportunity to assure the public that Ashanti Staff Regional Police Command and the entire Ghana Police Service, under the leadership of Inspector General of Police, Mr. Tete Yohunu, will do everything possible to ensure their safety to go about their daily activities without fear from criminals and their activities. We are also using this medium to appeal to the public to support the police by giving information on criminal activities to the police, as we cannot do without their support.
With the gang neutralized, a sense of relief is returning to the Adansi communities. But as police warn, this is just one battle won in the wider war against armed robbery. Police investigations continue as they pursue possible accomplices.
Let's now go to the northern region, where the Minister of Energy and Green Transition has expressed serious concerns over the increasing rate of power theft in the northern region, especially in the greater Tamale metropolis. John Jinapor says over 50% of power theft across the country is recorded in the northern region, with about 70% of residents in the greater Tamale metropolis engaged in illegal connections, leading to revenue loss.
The minister was in the region to engage stakeholders, including traditional authorities, on how to deal with the problem of illegal connections in the region. Speaking to journalists after inspection of some projects in the greater Tamale metropolis, the minister warned that the northern region may face a blackout in power supply if the growing incidence of illegal connection and non-payment of electricity bills are not immediately addressed.
One of the major problems we are facing in the NEDCO area has to do with the northern sector. Indeed, when you look at the losses within the northern sector, over 50% of the losses alone is attributable to the northern sector. And within the northern sector, over 70% comes from Tamale. So it means that we're having huge losses in what you call the ATCC losses. We've met the regional minister. We've also met all the stakeholders to let them understand that without revenue, it will be very difficult to complete projects such as this.
He maintained that NEDCO officials will in the coming days embark on a massive revenue mobilization and loss control exercises across its operational areas on measures taken to improve stable power supply in the Tamale enclave. The minister emphasized that some infrastructure is being built to boost power supply to Tamale and other parts of the region.
Tamale has been experiencing some very major challenges when it comes to the supply of power for some time now. And so the works we are doing here in terms of these new substations on completion, and the briefing I get is that they should be done within the month of June. It will lead to resilience, it will lead to system stability, and overall improvement in electricity delivery.
Meanwhile, the Adubili and Lamashagu substations are expected to be completed by June this year to improve power supply.
Now, the Upper East Regional Minister Donatus Atanga is urging security personnel in and around Boko not to abandon their post as the conflict there escalates. It follows growing concerns raised by some security personnel over increased targeting by the feuding factions, making life difficult for them. The conflict continues to claim lives as government works at resolving the conflict.
On the first day after the IGP's visit to the troubled town, 2 police officers and another civilian will be killed in the conflict. While the news team huddled to gather more, a security operative will reach out with even more troubling details of what they say is a targeted attack on them. An officer who spoke anonymously said they cannot even buy water for their camp. According to him, the fight is not against police, it's not against the military, it's not against immigration or NIB. Every single security personnel who is on the grounds has their life at stake. He adds, they are demoralized. Everybody is scared. We cannot move out. We cannot go anywhere. We just want to go buy water for the office staff. We cannot go. Security analyst Colonel retired Festus Abuaje, reacting to the development, called on the mediation team led by the Asantehene Otumfuo Saitutu II to begin immediate work.
It is not speaking about an integrated operation where these security operatives, whether BNI, NIB, whatever they are, it doesn't appear that they are, jointly operating with the formed security services, i.e. the police and the military. And that they, the security operatives, are probably living on their own. They are not supplied with some of the consumables. So that simply has to change.
A position backed by Dr. Victor Doke, who wants security personnel in the area to avoid isolated situations and safeguard their lives even during the operations.
Investigations are still ongoing to ascertain and then apprehend a conflict.
Right.
The security personnel should know that despite the fact that they are there, they should be careful of their movements. If it's not necessary for you to go out, you don't go out. Except you're going on patrols. But on personal outings, I think they should desist from it for now.
For now, tensions continue to remain high, with the Otumfuo-led committee fast coming under some pressure to reopen mediation talks.
And away from the Upper East region, an Accra High Court has ordered prosecutors to expedite investigations in order for the plea of suspect Uche Chukwuchima to be taken after being on remand for weeks. The 56-year-old Nigerian has been held before the court after he was busted with cocaine and heroin worth $2.1 million. Lord Asari reports.
In court on Monday, April 14, the prosecution led by Watson Adama pleaded with the courts for more time to file new charges. The senior state attorney noted that a document from the Ghana Standards Authority had just been handed over to the prosecution, hence would need time to file the charges. But the presiding judge in the matter chastised the prosecution for the delay with investigations. She noted that she would not countenance the continuous holding of Okechukwu Chima on remand since the Narcotics Control Commission had the power to admit him to bail and proceed with the investigations. Counsel for the accused, Paul Asigi Abariga, then prayed that the plea of his client be taken using the charges before the court. He said prosecution could substitute the charge sheets with the amended one when they were done. After listening to both counsel, Justice Rubiaiti adjourned the case to April 17 for prosecution to amend the charges, but not without cautioning them. She noted that another delay by the prosecution leading to the continuous incarceration of the accused person without his plea taken will cause her to throw out the docket. According to the Narcotics Control Commission, the suspect Okechukwu Chima had been under surveillance for some time and is believed to be linked to several past drug-related seizures and arrests in Ghana. Lord Asari, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's turn our attention to health-related matters now. The Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Victor Asare-Bampo, has revealed that the authority is set to expand free dialysis services across the country. Speaking at a media briefing at the NHIS head office here in Accra, Dr. Bampo noted that the authority will also work to make the initiative more sustainable.
From last year, the previous government started the free dialysis program, and I think there are 20 centers where dialysis is offered free of charge. What we intend to do with that is to expand it, to make it more sustained, to make it go nationwide, so that instead of it depending on, some kind of funds that are put in every year, it becomes like other diseases under the NHIS, under the scheme.
In more news headlines, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Dr. Ken Ashigbe, has expressed support for government's decision not to renew the Kelny GVG contract, describing it as a step in the right direction. He lamented that the contract offered little benefit to the country and amounted to a waste of public funds.
It will be recalled that the Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Samuel George, recently announced that government would not be renewing the Kelny GVG contract upon its expiration. He cited the high operational costs incurred by the government as a major concern. Dr. Ashigbe questioned the significant investments made into Kelny GVG since its inception and whether the returns justified the expenditure, particularly in terms of value for money.
The decision taken by the minister might be the right one to say that this is something that is not giving the government value for money, because I have not seen any data that is pointing out that there's been any incremental revenues that can be attributed to this particular thing. So I would just hope that, subsequent to this, we will not be spending a lot of money again into any system wanting to do revenue assurance.
He urged the government to consider empowering the National Communications Authority, NCA, to take over the responsibilities previously handled by Kelny GVG, noting that the NCA could execute those functions more effectively.
If you look at the NCA is well capacitated if they want to do this, and they do that. They do their regular checks, they get auditing firms to check, books and all of that. So if government really wants to set up a system, I'm sure if they left it for the NCA will be able to put together these systems to run it, and we will not have to spend all the amount of money that the minister is alluding to that we are spending on such systems.
Dr. Ashigbe also commended the minister for his commitment to improving the country's communications infrastructure.
This is still News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We bring you more stories after this.
Well, it's now time for the latest in the world of business news with Michael Ududu. Michael, there's been some reaction to PURC's increase in utility tariffs. What's that?
Yeah, so businesses are saying that they will basically pass on that increment to consumers. So we all have to brace ourselves.
Yeah, Martin especially.
Was expected. Let's do business.
Well, before we bring you that story, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, has urged government to allocate funds to revitalize the operations of the produce buying company, PBC. The ICU highlighted that inadequate funding has significantly impacted PBC's operations, contributing to a decline in cocoa production. General Secretary Morgan Ayawene said this during the union's Greater Accra Regional Conference in Accra.
Ghana's cocoa production has dropped below 1 million metric tons, a situation linked to the halted operations of the produce buying company PBC. PBC has been inactive for approximately 3 to 4 years due to its significant debt burden. In 2024, a court ruling ordered PBC to repay over 400 million cedis owed to banks. Yet this directive has not been fulfilled. Nearly a year later, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union ICU has urged the government to allocate funds to revive PBC. The ICU's General Secretary Morgan Ayawene has not only appealed for financial support, but also voiced concerns about attempts by certain individuals to undermine PBC's operations.
People who are placed at the top echelon of power have set up companies which are also competing with the state-owned organization, PBC. And whether it is a deliberate, plan, an orchestrated plan to run PBC aground and then project the individual parties to buy cocoa at the expense of cocoa farmers.
In a related development, the ICU has called on government to invest in New Plant Ghana and other state-owned companies such as NIB and ADB Bank to boost their operations.
To give loans to MPs and politicians every 4 years, you have diverted your course and you have not allowed NIB to do its work. Its core mandate is to help the industrial sector of the economy, but not to give car loans to MPs and politicians.
Now, amid rising allegations of scams and brand misrepresentation, QNet, a global direct selling company specializing in health, wellness, education and lifestyle products, has reaffirmed their commitment to ethical business practices. The company, which has been operational for over 2 decades, is urging the general public to be mindful of fraudsters who hide behind their brand to scam people.
During a media briefing, the Regional General Manager for Sub-Saharan Africa at QNet, Brian Fowl, emphasized that the company does not recruit employees and are not a traveling agency. Rather, they empower individuals to become micro-entrepreneurs by promoting their products via an e-commerce platform, with operations spanning over 25 countries and a customer base in nearly 100 nations across the world.
QNet is not an employment or travel agency and does not promise visas or overseas employment at all. QNet does not encourage or condone illegal migration or gathering of any kind. QNet does not encourage anyone to hold people against their will or be involved in human trafficking. QNet business model, it is about promoting genuine products and getting commission from the sale of products, not recruitment of individuals. QNet encourages the public to verify any business claims through its official website, www.qnet.net, or report suspicious activities via WhatsApp, +233 256 630 0005.
He said they have prosecuted individuals found guilty of fraud in the past and are willing to continue to deter others from defrauding customers.
We have taken legal action in 2024 against 42 individuals who were perpetrating these unlawful acts, namely scamming people, and we are determined to even prosecute more.
Global Compliance Officer at Killnet, Nan Hoti, highlighting the company's efforts in combating fraud, called on the government to introduce legislation on direct selling, which will regulate the activities of all businesses.
We are asking for the government to establish a direct selling legislation to protect the ordinary Ghanaian on the street. Once there is a legislation, it will guide how the business is supposed to be done. It will qualify companies who are supposed to operate in Ghana, and at the end of the day, we are looking at consumer protection and how the government can benefit from taxes that are paid by these companies.
Let's now turn our attention to the currency and commodities market and bring you updates. Now, businesses are threatening to pass on rising utility costs to consumers following the latest tariff adjustment by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC. The development has sparked concerns over inflation and affordability for already burdened households. And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Ogodu. Up next, the sports.
Before we get to the Champions League, let's talk about the Ghana Premier League, where Asante Kotoko head coach Prosper Nateogum has urged his technical staff and fans to encourage the players despite Kotoko's recent patchy path. Now, the ballkeeper and Warriors are without a win in their last 2 games following their latest draw against Bechem United on Sunday.
I think we just have to encourage the players, encourage everybody within the team. I mean, there should be some element of good commentary around the team so that emotionally the players will be stable to be able to focus. I think over the period since we came, we've delivered. It's only today that we didn't get the maximum points for them. So I don't think this match should bring about a lot of negative commentaries around the team where things that are untrue will be created and will be pushed on people's neck and throats. No.
From the Ghana Premier League, let's move straight to the English Premier League, where Antoine Semenyo
I would urge more African players to be who they are and enjoy their qualities and stuff.
So you see Yaya Toure, no one could live with him.
Yeah.
He was crazy.
Untouchable.
But when you hear commentators describe him, they're like, he's this big, strong guy. Yeah. That's what they lead with. But he had so many other attributes.
It's more than just pace and power, you know. Yeah.
And then the focusing on the strength kind of downplays it a little bit.
You need a lot of flair to be beating players, you know, because this league, everyone is strong. You can see, bro. Everyone is strong and fast, so you need something special to.
Still in England, where Eddie Howe remains in hospital on Tyneside but is said to be on the road to recovery after being diagnosed with pneumonia. The Newcastle manager was admitted late on Friday night and missed the side's 4-1 victory over Manchester United on Sunday. Club officials announced in a statement his diagnosis, including a message from Howe thanking medical staff for their care and the wider football community to their good wishes. His assistant, Jason Tyndall, aided by Graham Jones, will once again lead the team at home against Crystal Palace on Wednesday night and then Aston Villa on Saturday evening. It is still unclear whether Howe will be well enough to return to work, but Newcastle are expected to issue further updates following the Aston Villa game.
we have for you on the sports segment on News 360. My name is Ore Kwampofo. If you're after some more sports stories, you can check our social media handles at 3SportsGH. My name is Ore Kwampofo, and up next is entertainment news with Adranwala.
Well, good evening. Let's get into some entertainment news segments here on News 360. My name is Nwala Donko. Now, a charged blend of reconciliation, tension and excitement filled the air Saturday night at the Perfect Match Extra Season 2 reunion. AJ Sapon took viewers on a journey through the stories of several participants, revealing how their relationships have evolved since the show ended. If you missed it, here are some highlights from the night.
The reason I'm saying did you make that because he said it. Did he not say it?
With a storyline that kept audiences hooked all season, Perfect Match Extra delivered a compelling mix of drama, romance and heartbreak.
Jake, Chris and Hermes, congrats for coming this far, but the final couple is Rosie and Drew.
As a new season approaches, the spotlight turned to a flashback-filled reunion, a time for reflection, revelations and reconnections among past contestants.
Jason and I, we solve our issues. You might bring the opinion or you can come with your opinion, but if I am not interested, I'm not going to do that.
I'm friends with anyone you see here, but those who are not here, probably they knew I'll be here, that's why they didn't come. No, yeah, because I'm cool with everyone here.
The day after we came for our photo shoot, then he asked for a lift, which I gave to him. Now, after dropping
I didn't ask for a lift. You were going my way, so I didn't ask.
Don't worry, whatsoever, me drop it, man drop it.
Kwame, did you consider him a friend?
Never.
But he considered you a friend.
I don't know if he did, but I don't.
Three beautiful relationships so far. It's a difficult one.
But who's most likely to marry them out?
I don't know. I just wish three of them luck.
Okay.
I don't think there's any doubts about it. She is the one.
Oh, hi. We love it. We love it.
Now to some more stories. The National Film Authority, that's the NFA, has reminded all stakeholders in the Ghanaian film industry that as stipulated in the Development and Classification of Film Act 2016, that is Act 935, all films intended for public exhibition in Ghana must be classified by the NFA. The authority, in a statement by the Executive Secretary, Kafui Danko-Picha, said no person shall exhibit or cause to be exhibited a film unless the film has been passed and classified by the NFA. The regulation aims to streamline, develop and uphold standards in Ghana's growing film ecosystem and applies to feature films, short films, trailers, TV series, documentaries, adverts and any audiovisual content exhibited in cinemas, on television, online platforms or in any public space. According to the authority, effective May 1, 2025, a new enforcement measure will be applied to the film classification process, and NFA declared that every producer submitting content for classification must hold a film producer license issued by the NFA. Well, that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Nwala Donko. There's more after the break.
Hello again, coming up, international news.
South Africa has appointed a special envoy to the US in an effort to ease tensions between the two countries, which have worsened since Donald Trump's return as president. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced Mcebisi Jonas's selection, adding that he would be entrusted with advancing South Africa's diplomatic, trade and bilateral priorities. Jonas, a former deputy finance minister, made headlines when he made corruption allegations against a wealthy family linked to former President Jacob Zuma. The US last month expelled South Africa's ambassador Ibrahim Rasool over remarks he had made about the Trump administration. The all-female crew of Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket have returned to Earth. The flight lasted about 11 minutes and reached a height of about 60 miles above Earth. Pop star Katy Perry, who was part of the crew, says she took a daisy into space for her daughter, who is called Daisy. Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' fiancée, says she had the feeling that the Earth is profound and we need to protect this planet. Broadcaster Gayle King says she walked out after the trip thinking she could do anything. Also on board the flight were civil rights activist Amanda Nguyen, rocket scientist Aisha Bowie and film producer Kiriene Flynn.
Maybe next time we should expect an all-male crew, including yourself.
Yeah, I'd like to go to space someday. But before that, we want to end the show here to tell you that at 9 p.m. we'll have Sports Station, and then at 10, there'll be Ghana Tonight. That's it for our show. I am Martin Asiedu Dartey.
And I am Portia Gabor. Good evening.